What's up, folks? Welcome to Nino's Corner.tv. I'm with America's favorite sheriff, Richard Mack. Richard, thank you so much for joining me. You've been on this program many times, and every time it's a pleasure. Thank you.
Well, it's my pleasure also, Nino, and it's good to know I have friends like you across the country. And I mean, if you ever need me for anything, you know where to call and you know where to get a hold of me, and I would come and back you up on anything.
Oh, man, I may need that. I'm
Yeah,
on the
we
border.
both might. We both might. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right here on ground. I'm in ground zero. Steve Bannon even told me, he said, you're in ground zero. Pay attention to what's happening on the border.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff. I just did a show this morning talking about what I believe is coming, which is I don't believe any of these cartels or any of these immigrants. Some will, but many of them will not leave in peace. And I really believe that. I believe they're going to make this as messy as possible for
That's
Trump.
I think that's a very legitimate concern. Very legitimate.
Folks, before we get started on this one, get your noble gold. Are you new to investing? You have savings you need to protect right now with the Middle East war, the Ukrainian war, and maybe even Taiwan popping off soon. You need a new playbook that's safe. Allocate some gold right now and avoid the frenzied panic of the unprepared. When fear reigns, gold protects the wise. Noble Gold Investments offers a free 5 ounce America the Beautiful coin with a new IRA this month. Shield your savings with the Noble Gold Investments IRA. Noble Gold Investments, folks. Go to Noble Gold Investments to get started. It's down there at the bottom. I know 𝗀𝗃𝗶𝗃 personally. He's a great guy, and he's helped me with my portfolio. Richard Mack. All right, so I'm here on the border, and I got to tell you, I hear things.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've been raised right here in Ciudad Juarez and El Paso, both sides of the border, and I feel like I know there's good people on both sides and there's bad people on both sides.
Right.
But they don't really stay here in El Paso. They're being bussed out all over the country. And I believe I've seen some of these people jump, okay, military age men. I've actually seen this with my own eyes. Them hurdle over, almost look like they're pole vaulting over, jump the fence and land on their feet, crouch down and dodge cars on the freeway and make it to the other side. I've seen this over
Yeah.
and over again. And
Yeah.
one time I was driving, and as I'm driving, this guy, this hombre, looked at me right in the eyes, man, like a stone cold killer. And he had tattoos all over his face, and he just watched me drive by, and then he ran through the highway. Paisano, that's the street that borders Mexico, and that's the street closest to Mexico. I've seen this with my own eyes. I know what type of people are coming here. I'm sure there's a lot of families that are coming here to work and do all that, but there's a lot of bad hombres here, and I'm going to say
Yeah.
I don't believe they're going to go in peace.
Uh, uh, I've been near the border most of my life. I've crawled through the drug tunnels and the human smuggling tunnels of 𝗬𝗶𝗶𝗃 and Nogales, and I've ridden the machine gun boats along the Rio Grande near McAllen, Texas. I've seen it before, and I totally agree with you. There's going to be many of them out of the 20 million that are here. There's going to be many of them that are going to resist. And that's why, Nino, I say that first and foremost, Trump should put the military at the border. We must stop the bleeding. We must get that under control. I'm also for a moratorium on all immigration, that no one be allowed in the United States until we get this thing resolved and solved. But because there's people that want to do us harm that want to come both ways, illegally and legal. It's just that the Biden administration opened up the borders. Now we have terrorists, the cartels, CCP dissidents, Russian dissidents. They're all here. And folks, Nino's right. Some of those are not going to leave peacefully. And that's why the sheriffs of this country must have Trump's back. Now, Nino, I know you saw this too. Remember, they showed the outline of the United States of America. They showed the map of the United States 2 or 3 days after Trump won. Okay? It was 85% for Trump.
Wow.
if you go county by county, 85%. All we need is 85%, that 85% sheriffs to back him and say, we're here, we're going to help you, and we will do anything we can within the law, of course, to get rid of these dissidents, get rid of the criminal element. And just like Trump said first, we need to go after the terrorists, the cartels, and the violent criminals first. So yes, and failure to coordinate that with the sheriffs would be a big mistake. Sheriffs can help. They have jails, they have resources, they have posses, and they can get things moving very quickly and helping the federal government, helping the Trump administration keep his promise to America to get this plague that Biden and Harris brought into our country and get it out. It is a huge threat. It is violating our national security, and it is creating more violence and crime than America has ever seen. We've got to stop it, and allowing them to stay is only exacerbating the problem.
So I know that a lot of the sheriffs are compromised. I even think the one here is, but I'm not going to go into that. But I've heard of a lot of sheriffs being compromised. I know that the cartels actually have their hands in the political system.
They do.
You look no further than Arizona, than New Mexico, even parts of Texas. I mean, how are we going to flush them out? I mean, that seems like a very grueling process. But you're saying that
this will do it. This will flush them out. Can you imagine your sheriff saying, "No, I will not help with this"? What is he saying? I want to keep these. I want to keep these criminals in our community. That is malfeasance, and there's no way that the people will stand.
So what do we do? So what do we do? So if a sheriff doesn't cooperate, how do we go about making him cooperate? He gets arrested. I mean, what happens?
Well, he cannot be arrested for refusing to cooperate. He
Right.
cannot be arrested
Right.
for that.
That's what I'm confused. So
okay,
how do we lay down the law with the sheriff then?
Well, first of all, we the people are in charge of him. We are his boss, and so we can recall him. We can tell him. We can just get on the news and say, "Hey, sheriff, you're leaving, or we're going to make you leave." So there's a different process for removing a public official in every state. But if you have a recall one, that's the quickest. Okay, he gets recalled, he's gone. Okay, but community communication. All of us, if he hears from 1,000 people, he'll think it's tens of thousands, and you've got to do that. Do we have time to break away from what we're trying to do to go and go after the sheriff is another question. But look, we don't need every sheriff, but we do need close to that 85% that has already shown support for him. So we're going to have to tackle some of that as we go along. But most sheriffs want to stop this crime. And most of them want that because the American people just voted for that. And he knows. Now, look, there's a lot of sheriffs along the border that are Democrat and Republican that want to stop this. They've seen too much of it. And quite frankly, the Biden administration overplayed their hand. This is what cost them the election. And folks, we've got to clean it up. Hopefully there'll be city chiefs of police that want to join this as well, because they've had enough of the crime. We already have Mayor Adams in New York that wants to help with this now. There might be
I
other
think
motives.
that guy got pulled aside and said, because it just doesn't make sense to me. I don't think that guy had a change of heart. I think he was
but look at the people in Chicago. They're now going against their own mayor.
Right.
And that's where you're going to wake everybody up. But there's a lot of good sheriffs in Illinois. We had 95 sheriffs stand against Governor Pritzker on his gun control measures. All we need is those 95, less, 85 sheriffs to stand up and help get rid of this criminal element and the gangs and the terrorists. We have international terrorists in this country waiting to hit us. And
see, that's what I'm worried about. I think they're actually here. It's been a strategy. I think they were put here. I think they're going to be activated. I think cells are going to be activated around the time Trump pushes forward for the mass deportations, so that he can have mud on his face.
Or you're right. Or they do it before he even takes office. So
I mean, I've heard
look,
that immigrants aren't even showing up to their jobs.
those
They're
two
hiding.
scenarios, well, those two scenarios are very legitimate and likely.
So you do see a problem arising no matter when. It's just a matter of when. So you
Exactly.
see it either before he gets inaugurated or right when he gets inaugurated and he starts moving forward. On day
Or when
one,
he's
he's going to do this,
or
right?
right when he starts doing the plan to
So
deport.
you see this happening fairly soon.
Yes. Yeah.
What, from your experience, and I know there's no real way to tell how on the scale of how big how big the magnitude will be, but I lived through the Juarez territory drug wars, right? The movie Sicario, the whole thing, that was very realistic. Like, it was bad here. They were mowing down 60 people at a time. They're going into restaurants, shooting up restaurants. I'm worried, and I know a lot of, oh, he's just fear mongering. No, I've experienced it. I was here. I live here. I think now that they're controlling both sides, we could possibly see that here, and I think that they'll make it as ugly as possible for Trump because they're not going to leave in peace. I mean, I can imagine that they're going to say, you know what, you're trying to kick us out. We're going to make this brutal for you. And
Right.
showing up in restaurants, shooting up restaurants. I mean, do you think we could see that type of scale of conflict here on the U.S. side as we did in Mexico during 2003 to 2013?
I don't like to talk about that either, but it's realistic and it needs to be discussed because it's very likely. There's too many of them here to think that that's not going to happen.
Right.
The worst people on the face of this planet that hate America and that want to destroy America and that hate Trump, but they hate us all. They hate America, and they want to destroy America. And so my question is, they've been here for years. They're here. The training that we've been to shows not only what you're talking about, but they also show that they are going to attack the infrastructure, the grid, the water supply, and then do some of the mass shootings, which we've had for quite some time. But imagine, folks, the millions of criminals and terrorists that are here now. They could hit us all very easily. And that's why we've got to be prepared at the local level. County by county, we've got to be prepared. And we need to be well armed. I would like to see it, that the sheriffs are training their posses right now. Get moving on training your posses. We've been telling the sheriffs for the last year, 2 years, that we've got to be prepared for what these people are going to do to us. And
So
again,
you totally agree with me. You believe this is going to happen. It's going to get ugly.
I've said it before, and you're saying exactly what I've been saying. It scares me. I've got 15 grandkids, and it really worries me what this is going to be happening to them and how safe they're going to be. And so, yeah, look, Nino, does anyone not believe that these people are here? Do you not believe that is the American people, are they so naive to think that these terrorist groups who are obviously here are not going to do anything?
Yeah.
They're not here to sing Kumbaya. They're going to do something. Now, what would be the natural thing for them to do?
Attack our
And
infrastructure, mass shootings.
Yes.
And especially if they're organized and they all do this simultaneously at the same time, this could actually amount to so much civil unrest. This could spiral us into lockdowns, checkpoints. I mean, this could get ugly. This could get really ugly.
It could, yeah. Yeah.
So are the sheriffs already getting the memo? I mean, the sheriffs that like, okay, start preparing. What are sheriffs doing right now to prepare for this?
Not very much. And that's why
Not very much.
They're not. They're not.
What do you mean?
Because the American people have got to wake them up.
What?
Okay, who's the boss of the sheriff? That's why we have these big shows like this. You and I are not talking to sheriffs right now. There's maybe 2 or 3 sheriffs watching the show. The American people have got to be activated. You've got to go talk to your sheriff. Nino, I've told you that every time I've been on the show, that they need to coordinate these efforts with
I mean,
their
they're not getting
sheriffs.
the memo. Like, hey, start preparing. Like the transition is happening. Start getting ready. Are they even going to cooperate? Do we? I mean,
Most of them will cooperate, but the thing of it is, are they going to be too busy taking care of local issues and to say, hey, we've got the shootings, we've got the water supply, we've got to get the electricity going again. And so you can see how vulnerable we are with all of that. And so
so
the
what
the
would you
truth,
suggest? How would you go about this? First layout. I mean, I guess first day one. What? Shut down the border. Start building the wall again.
put
Deploy
the
the
military,
military.
put the military at the border, get the National Guard ready in every state, get the sheriffs and his posses ready also, have the jail facilities emptied as much as they can, and then
Build
uh,
new facilities as well, right? I
no,
mean,
you don't have time for that. You don't have time for that. The sheriffs all run jails, and they need to get the ones that are the DUIs and the penny ante misdemeanors, and get them set free and make sure that there's extra room in the jails in every county and all across this country.
maybe you
So
don't think by like maybe installing tents like they did in Maricopa County
yeah,
where I
like they did
spent
in
some
Maricopa
time.
County. Yeah, and that would be quick and that would be possible, but they're not very confined in those, obviously. And yes, there's fences there, but you know what the cartels have done to those fences along the border before when we had
Oh
them.
yeah, they cut them right open. They did.
They don't care,
It's not even a problem. So
right?
do you think we did? So does he install military along the border, like every few hundred yards? There's a tank or a
Yeah, there needs
military.
to
You
be
get what I'm
heavy
saying? Like,
duty. Yes, there needs to be heavy duty equipment at the border, to make sure that the soldiers aren't by themselves and that they have the necessary resources to secure that border.
so first we need to stop the flow. That would be
The
first, and
bleeding.
then
Yeah.
once we stop the flow, then start. What are they going to? So explain how this could work. Are they going to go
Well,
door
look,
to
look,
door,
look, look.
banging down doors, dragging
Tom
families out?
Homan is already working on that plan.
Okay.
Okay. And then that memo, as you were talking about, needs to get to every sheriff, and they can do that. They know where the sheriff's email is, and they can
But
send
you
them to
already
every
have
sheriff.
Democratic senators and governors and mayors not wanting to cooperate with Tom Homan. What do you see? What do you say we do with those people? They get
Well,
arrested?
first of all, okay, so the mayor of Phoenix has already come out and said she won't cooperate. The governor of Arizona has said she won't cooperate. If they get in the way of Sheriff Sheridan in Maricopa County, who is a brand new sheriff, very constitutional, very powerful, I worked on his campaign. If the Phoenix mayor gets in his way, then I can't wait for that to happen. Phoenix is in Maricopa County. The Maricopa County sheriff can come in there and anytime he wants. She gets in his way, he arrests her for obstruction of justice. That will send a clear message to everyone across the country. Uh, the same thing with the governor. She wants to obstruct what he's doing. That's fine. But the last time I checked, Phoenix is in his jurisdiction, which it is. And so I hope that other police departments also cooperate with the sheriffs and cooperate with Tom Homan and President Trump. But folks, this is something that has to happen. And this is completely 100% the blame of Biden and Harris. And so to say not do it, what does that mean? Keep the violence, keep the fentanyl, keep the gangs, keep all this threat. They're not going to stop. And somebody has to do something about it. And finally, we have a president who will.
So I just saw that you were on Steve Bannon's show. I'm going to play a little bit of this here.
Mack to join us
Okay.
again. Sheriff Mack, by the way, good call the other day, sir. I know the president thinks very highly of you and your organization. Sure, he took that to heart in this decision. Walk me through. Your complaints were not just about Democrats, but also you have some very specific ideas about DEA having worked with them. What are the characteristics that the president should be looking for for the head of DEA?
Well, first and foremost, thank you for helping us with that, because this was a very poor choice, and Trump would have lived to regret it later. So we're glad Chronister's out of the way.
Did you help affect that decision?
Yeah, because I was on Steve's show just a couple of days before that, and he said, I'm going to play this clip why we should get rid of Chronister, and he gave it to Trump, and then Trump, that's right, when Chronister actually came out and said that he withdrew, and then Trump came back and said, no, he didn't. I withdrew him. That was
Wow.
because of us. That was
Wow.
because of
So
us.
you had influence of that decision.
Yes, we
That's
did.
incredible. That's incredible.
He should have never been considered. And I'm really glad, though, Steve, I got to tell you, I'm really glad that the president is looking at sheriffs to be part of his administration. If we're going to really clean up Washington, D.C., we got to have a, quote, new sheriff in town. And someone who's not involved in Washington, D.C. politics and the elitism of Washington, D.C., and who's a dedicated lawman and has experience in working drugs, especially near the border or at the border and across the border. And so, yes, I really praise President Trump.
So, yeah, that's probably good
for his
right
leadership here, and that he's looking at sheriffs.
Okay.
So, yeah, but what really the point I love that Steve Bannon made there for us is that Trump likes our organization, and he would be willing to work with us. And so, look, we helped get rid of Chronister. Our people in Florida were really working there. We got it before Trump. Trump realized he made a mistake, and I don't know who he trusted on that. Maybe he's already got them fired as well, because this wasn't just a little mistake. This was someone blew it horribly, because this man is totally woke. He's weak. He's pro gun control. He's pro red flag laws. And there's nothing that this man has done that has helped this country. He claims to be a Republican, but he donated to Barack Obama. He donated to the DNC.
Wow.
You know, okay.
Wow.
So anyway, he's not a Trump man, and how he got nominated, I have some suspicions, but anyway, we got rid of him. We're heading forward. And now, folks, you have got to be involved in this process. One, the sheriff needs to hear from you what you want him to do to help with getting the illegals, and especially the gangs and the terrorists, out of your community. He needs to hear from you. Second, you need to join his posse and be ready to help him.
Wow.
Okay? That has to happen. And third, you've got to be well armed and well trained. There you go.
Do you think that I'm wondering, like, I wonder if Canada, I mean, that's another border we really have to watch, is the Canadian border, right? I mean, everyone's
hell
paying
yeah.
attention to the southern border, but
Mhm.
there's a lot of activity around the northern border too, right? I mean, I would imagine that a lot of the immigrants are going to head north, right? I don't
might.
know. I mean,
They
could
might,
they start
but
going?
people there have already told me that it's not the Canadian border isn't as bad, but because of the great overflow, it's starting to become that way. But yes, the Canadian border is a threat. All the ports along the east and west coast are threats. And so, folks, there's not enough federal agents to take care of this. And we've got to be prepared county by county. The sheriffs have to be involved. And I think there's going to be more Democrats that are going to be, you either join up, or you're going to be left way behind. And the people of this country know that you were the problem, and you were to blame for not doing anything about this after you guys caused it.
So we both agree that this is going to get messy. It's just about how messy is this going to get. And I know the cure has
true.
to be greater than the disease. So people are
Correct.
going to be really looking at Trump right now going, see, look at this. Look what you're doing. You're causing problems. It's getting bad. There's civil unrest, shootings, whatever. But you have to, honestly, and I agree, and I'm sure you agree with me that, hey, this would have never happened if they wouldn't have let these millions upon millions upon millions of people in the border. How many people crossed in the last 4 years? About 20 million? Over 20? I mean, something insane.
We don't really know, but we know it's 20 to 40 million.
Jeez. That's astronomical.
I know, it's crazy.
That doesn't even
It's
make
crazy.
sense. So
and yeah, you have to ask why. What benefit did the Democrats expect to get from that? There's only one thing. Voters.
right.
They could add
Yeah.
them to their voter rolls.
I
That's
think
it.
it's more sinister than that, if you want my opinion. I think it's a lot
Well,
more
for,
sinister.
just for the Democrats, there's only one
Yeah.
other one. They
Okay.
want to bring America down. They
Right.
want to destroy America. So there's only those two things.
And I think the right timing to kick this off would be when Trump gets into office. That way it's all on him.
Of course. Of course. And I totally agree with you on that.
Oof.
Yeah. So, but this is the other thing too. Folks, we've been fighting and warning about this for quite some time. We've been trying to get sheriffs trained and prepared. We've been trying to get you prepared. Nino, I've been on 140 shows the last 3 months, and we've been saying the exact same stuff. Folks, if you're prepared, you needn't fear, but we're way behind on being prepared.
Right.
Okay.
Oof.
So look, one, we've asked you to join our posse so that we can help get you trained and get you
I
going.
want to join the posse.
Well, yeah. Well, you might need to move out here to Phoenix and join the
I don't
Maricopa
think the
County
sheriff
one,
here
'cause we're
will
doing
let
a
me in
new
the
one there.
posse.
Yeah. Come move to Phoenix, or actually come move to where I live. I live outside Phoenix in Gilbert. So come join
Gilbert's
me in
good. I like
Gilbert or
Gilbert.
Chandler or Mesa, or Glendale. But folks, the point there is we have a real good sheriff here who has been saying he will work to get out of here. Okay. So folks, make a donation at CSPOA.org. Help us keep this work alive. And we need your membership. It's $11 a month to join our posse. We train you to work with your sheriff to work on his posse. This should have already been done. I've been doing this for years. I've been asking you guys every time I'm on Nino's show and everybody else's, join our posse. Okay?
I'll put the link down there below and they can go. What is it again?
CSPOA.org. Constitutional Sheriffs Peace Officers Association. It is by, for, and of the people. Join us, be a part of it. Oh, and one other thing. We have a special on these hats and a big thing on our front page on our website. My wife did a big Christmas sale thing. She's doing it all for $25. This hat sells for $25.
Send
It's
me
a
one.
very nice hat.
I'll wear
Okay,
it.
this is top quality. Okay, and she added a bunch of stuff to it, and she said free shipping. That wouldn't even pay for the wholesale price of the hat. Folks, my wife did it. Take advantage of it. Do it. And then look at this beautiful
Oh, that's nice.
Defend Liberty.
Wow.
Yeah, folks, you got to get this. There's not very many of these. I promise you, there's only about 15 of these knives left. And so get involved with us. And the reason we're doing that, because it takes finances to do this.
100%. I understand
If you
that.
just want to make a donation, just make a donation. But we need you on the posse and get on our list. And folks, this is serious stuff now. We're like the last line in the sand now.
Yeah.
Okay. The sheriffs have got to have Trump's back. We've got to cooperate with him and Tom Homan, and we've got to be ready. And that means you've got to be involved.
Thank you, Sheriff. I really appreciate you coming on. Man. Yeah, folks, get involved. Go to CSPOA.org. I'll put the link down below and get started. And make a contribution or buy a hat, get a knife or what. You only have 15 knives left.
Yeah.
Damn.
So,
Flying off the shelves.
we didn't have very many to begin
Okay.
with, but yeah. Yeah.
All right, folks, get over there. CSPOA.org. All right, Sheriff. Thank you.
Thank you, Nino. We'll see you soon.